What's up, y'all? It's Ariam.
And Yodit.
And you're tuned in to deuxsol Radio.
That's right, your favorite twins are back, talking all things music and culture.
Because two takes are better than one, but twin takes are even better. And we're back with another episode.
Yes, and what a time to be back.
Yes.
Because it's Black History Month.
Absolutely.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month to you, Yodit.
To you too. I can't help but think that every time we are in February, the infamous interview on MTV.
I already know what you're talking about.
With Whitney and Bobby, and she's like, we need it along a month. We need along a month. Like that still lives rent free in my head. And it's just the appropriate sentiment every time.
I love that she's so unapologetic with it. She's just like, we need along a month.
Yeah.
Period. So
Bobby's like, Black History Year. I'm like, you know what? Points were made.
Points were made.
And
And in the spirit of Black History Month, we've been intaking a lot of Black media. And I'm here for it. I mean, we ended up finally watching One of Them Days.
yes.
Wow.
Let's have a moment to talk about that movie.
I mean, it was already a star-studded cast, and having Keke Palmer, who is a comedic genius in her own right, as one of the leads, we already had faith that the movie was going to be really funny.
Yep.
But this was SZA's first debut as an actress in a major feature film, and SZA really delivered. I was very impressed.
She did.
Because it's hard to do comedy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It is not. It is not for the weak. Comedy is its own lane, you know, from delivering your lines to comedic timing. Like all of those things are super important, and it's not easy for anyone to just pick up.
It's
And then the
not.
fact that she's a singer-songwriter before even being an actress is like an added layer.
Yeah, but she really, really impressed me.
She did. She did a great job. I genuinely believe their chemistry. Like I believe their friendship. I believed all their shenanigans. Like I was able to watch it and not just feel like I was watching Keke Palmer and SZA. I was watching these two best friends.
You get lost in their characters.
Yeah, I got lost in the plot. But yeah, I mean, shout out to them, and of course, Kiki's like the people's princess.
She did.
She's another one. Like we all know that she's, you know, situationally funny. Like we see her interviews go viral. She's so memeable. She's so quotable. But
yeah, for sure.
Just to see her really take the lead of a comedy in this way was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Obviously that you can tell. I mean, they've, you know, honored their predecessors when you think about the Fridays of the world,
right?
All these like buddy comedies, but specifically Black buddy comedies.
Yeah.
So they really did their thing with this one. They did,
and it was like two female leads. You know, I felt like that was super special in its own right, and they just delivered. I was cracking up the entire time. The shenanigans they got into to get this money, to get rent paid.
Yeah,
and they also shot the film in about 20 days, which is
crazy.
A very short production time. And I just give them a lot of kudos and credit for their efforts. Like, I mean, it was a success. They had extremely high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was going to watch it regardless, but to see the critics rave about it prior and then to see it and just be as happy like that the film turned out as amazing as it did. I was like, this is perfect.
Having Issa Rae executive produce it, and she has the Midas touch when it comes to comedy, specifically comedy centering around Black women. But, you know, just to see her do her thing again was really, really beautiful. It just goes to show when you have the right people in these spaces that have the opportunities to fund these projects and to support these movies.
In addition with the talent, to be able to like see talent and see the potential in people, that's a great result of that.
I know.
For sure.
It was just so good. Every scene is loaded with jokes.
Yeah.
The writing is spectacular.
You literally
can't look away.
Yeah, you cannot look away. And I mean, I love those types of comedies. It kind of reminds me of how when I watch Abbott Elementary, I am tuned in. Like I don't like any other distractions because the jokes fly. Every other line is a joke. And that's the kind of feeling that I got when I was watching One of Them Days. So
yeah, no, totally. Had amazing cameos, like from Cat Williams to Janelle James.
I know.
I just felt like it was a really loaded cast and ensemble to really, you know, bring the story forward. And it was just, it's going to be one of those iconic classics
for sure
for years to come.
They could easily do a sequel and I'd watch it.
Absolutely.
You know how many Fridays we have?
I know.
Next Friday, Friday after next. They could do another one of them days.
Yeah.
That could be a sequel title right there.
Listen, take my money. Take my money. I will be there sat.
For sure.
Yes.
I'm sad.
I'm sad. Yes. What a time for Black history and for Black women.
Yes. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, go check out One of Them Days. It was so good. On the topic of Black history in film, a very famous family is getting honored at the NAACP Awards. The Wayans family.
Yes, it's about time.
Congratulations. The entire family is getting honored in the NAACP Hall of Fame, which is well deserved.
Yes, absolutely.
This family, and I know they have done this for you too, has made us and our family laugh for decades.
Truly.
Extremely gifted, talented family. They've given us so many great films, so many wonderful projects.
Their impact is insane as a family.
From In Living Color to, you know, the Wayans brothers to White Chicks to, you know, Little Man. It's endless.
Yeah,
the Scary Movie
franchise, like the Scary Movie franchise alone. Like when I tell you this family was destined for success in this industry because there's so much talent and particularly comedic talent in this entire family. You know, from whether it's Keenan and his directing and writing to Damon and his performances and
stand up,
Sean and Marlon, you know, the two of them having their dynamic eras together.
Yes.
Kim Wayans, like all of them are just so funny.
Yeah.
And they have an immense amount of talent and they just continue to gift us with so many great iconic films and TV shows.
And even Damon Wayans Jr., it just shows that they have generations of success and creativity that not many people have. And it's all in one family.
What's so exciting about, you know, them being honored is that they have had such an impact, but they don't boast about it. Like they let their work speak for themselves. And every now and then, you know, they get brought onto interviews and that's when they, you know, are talking about their impact. They've just been like humble kings and queens. And they're the epitome of putting your family on.
They also had to prove themselves even within their family. It wasn't like they were like, oh, you're my brother, I'm going to put you on. Because I remember I was actually watching the Shannon Sharpe interview that Marlon Wayans did. And he talked about how Keenan made Sean and him write so many drafts in Don't Be a Menace.
Yeah.
That could have easily been like, oh, you're my bro, I know you're funny. Let's go do this film. Yeah. No, he put them through the ringer.
Yeah, he challenged them and he trained them and he had a specific expectation of excellence for comedy. So I think through that, it helped them become even stronger comedic artists. I'm so happy they're getting their flowers.
For sure.
White Chicks is my movie.
It really is.
White Chicks is my comfort movie. It truly is. Like it's hilarious. It's crazy.
The jokes still hit.
The jokes are insane. You know, even in this era, people talk about, oh my God, like how far can you go with comedy? But even white girls love this movie. So it just goes to show like they've always had the sauce. They've always, you know, challenged each other to create great iconic comedies, and I'm glad that they're finally getting their flowers.
Yeah, so shout out to y'all. Keep thriving, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll be tuning in to see you all get honored.
And while we're on the topic of Black impact on television and in media, we can't sit here and not talk about the little deep dive that you and I have been doing.
I already know you're gonna say.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I can't have this episode and not talk about it. But yeah, you know, if y'all have been on Netflix, you've probably seen that a classic TV show has been brought back on the platform.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a comfort show for a lot of us. It's changed the way Black people have seen themselves in the world. It's encouraged Black people to go to school and pursue higher education.
We're talking about a different world.
It was always one of those shows that were so entertaining and just feel good all around. You know, from the amazing ensemble cast, from the cast of characters that they had, from the different storylines and plot lines that they tapped into. The show is just so impactful. impactful.
And it's still relevant in a lot of ways. There are things that happen in every college experience, no matter which college you go to. A lot of things were so universal. And I think that's why a show like that can really stand the test of time. And I remember when we were growing up, we loved that show. We even wanted to go to an HBCU. We both applied to Howard. We got in. And the only reason why we didn't go is we didn't get enough money.
Let's keep it a buck.
But, being sisters and going to school at the same time, we had to consider where we would receive the most financial aid. But Howard was one of our top schools. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we loved a different world growing up.
Yeah. And it's just like you said, Ariam, like that's just our story. It's not unique to just us. There are several stories you'll hear of Black and brown students who have talked about a different world and the impact that show had on them and how it inspired them to pursue higher education. And so we love the show. They covered on so many topics, but the cast was just phenomenal. I mean, Jasmine Guy, Kadeem, Cree Summer, Lisa Bonet, like
Sinbad.
There was just a cast of characters from all different walks of life.
It just showed that Black people are not a monolith.
Yes.
And they were able to showcase that in the 80s up until the 90s. And that was very rare. There wasn't one type of Black person you saw on that show. And I think that's what really resonated with Black people watching this show. It's like, I see me in this character. I see me in Freddie. I see me in, Dwayne. I see me in Ron. I felt like that is what made that show really stand out. And I don't even know if they were intentionally doing that, but that's what makes the show to me stand the test of time.
And shout out to Debbie Allen. Miss Debbie Allen.
A jack of all trades.
And master of all.
Yes.
Because when she came in and she put her foot in that show and she brought in her experience of being a Howard alum, understanding HBCU culture and the nuances of the culture and the different things that come with that space. I mean, she poured into the show. And you can see it. You can see it in the writing. You can see it in the performances.
She's another one that has the Midas touch. Because we talked about Issa Rae having that. But Debbie Allen, everything that she's worked on is excellent.
She gets TV. She gets theater. She gets performance as a whole.
She gets storytelling.
And even though the show was a comedy, it was a situational comedy, multi-camera show, there is something to this day that when you watch the show, whether it's the funniest comedy, moments or comedic moments, or if it's a very serious, dramatic scene, it still penetrates. I'm shedding a tear
because the actors were amazing actors too. Yes, they were
talented.
They were comedic actors, but they also can do the dramatic scenes with so much care. And a lot of topics were discussed. I mean, they talked about apartheid. They talked about AIDS. They talked about
racism. They talked about sexual assault.
Yes, consent. Like all of these topics were addressed and they were addressed with so much care, even for that time and that era, that I feel like makes that show so strong.
Even to this day, literally, we were just talking about Hillman Talk going on viral on TikTok. An extension of the impact of this show. They've created this huge legacy.
Dwayne and Whitley's love story. I mean, rewatching it now, you know how Netflix, you don't have the ads, you don't have commercials. So the episodes just fly by. And I'm like, dang, they still didn't get together yet.
That was a slow burn.
I mean, there was a lot of will they, won't they, will they, won't they, and then relationships in between. And I'm like, when are they going to get together? Even though I've seen the whole series, I know how it ends. Watching it back and seeing episode and season after season, I'm like, they still chasing each other.
But I was here for the ride, and I will always be there for the ride. Yeah, and I just loved everyone from Mr. Gaines to Colonel Taylor to Jaleesa. Everyone had a role and there was a chemistry there, and you can just tell every actor looked out for each other.
Yeah.
The actors to this day, they have a beautiful relationship. They go on HBCU tours together. They go on panels together. So I think it is really beautiful to see to this day that bond is still transcended beyond the screen.
Yes. Thank you for that history and legacy that they were a part of, and that show just meant so much to us, and it continues to mean so much to us and to future generations. So Yes, Black History, baby.
Black History Month will always eat.
Yes.
It does every year.
That wraps up today's episode. If you like what you heard, you can keep up with us on our socials at DEUXSOL. That's at deuxsol. You can also watch us on YouTube and watch us on Spotify now, because now we upload our videos on Spotify as well. Yes. And you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. If you can hear it, we'll be on it. Till next time, guys. Peace.